Leo Cornelia, a female knight, turns around upon hearing her name. In front of her she sees a thin young man and warns him that she is not a suitable opponent in duel, as she is much stronger than he is. Unexpectedly for her, the young man gets down on one knee and says that he loves her as a woman. Leo Cornelia is amazed and doesn't believe his confession. She is convinced that Folly is deceiving her, as it is impossible to love a woman with so many scars on her body. But the young man doesn't give up and tries to prove to her that the female knight deserves love for who she is. Furious at his insolence, Leo Cornelia takes out her sword and shouts, "Get out of my sight before I cut you down." She has no intention of playing along with his farce. Folly responds that he fell in love with her at first sight and he likes everything about her, her bravery, her smile, and especially her abs. In a towering rage, she yells at the young man to stop making a fool with her and asks whether her body is so unseemly that he only likes her abs. Folly assures her that her abs are the best part of her, as they are trained and formed on the battlefield. The young man believes the knight is the most beautiful woman in the world. Leo Cornelia runs away, unable to handle her feelings, because no one has ever said such things to her before. Folly stands there at a loss. In the previous chapter, we learned about Leo Cornelia, the undefeatable sacred sword, who destroys enemies. She was nurtured as a tool to fight against demons, but one day a young man falls in love with her. Folly tells her about his feelings, but she runs away. The guy tries to catch up with her and help her with her quest. The female knight insists that she can handle everything herself, but she needs useful information that Folly doesn't have. The young man notices an injury on her body that she received in the last fight. Leo Cornelia pays no attention to his words, as she is sure that she must continue to fight until the end, even with an injury. Folly tries to touch her to heal the injury, as he has a recovery magic. This frightens the female knight, as only the chosen ones can use this high-level magic. Leo Cornelia tries to move away from him, but the young man can't be calm, seeing the injury on the woman he loves. He asks her not to move so he can help her. Folly couldn't resist touching Miss Leo's abs. The female knight yells at him to stop touching her stomach. She knew she couldn't trust him, so she turns around and runs away in anger. Leo Cornelia reflects on her past, how her strict father raised her. She was the only girl in the House of Knights, and she had to dedicate herself entirely to the path of the sword, living only for the battlefield. During one of the fights, the female knight realizes that she can't move because her bone is shattered. Leo Cornelia must gather all her strength and continue fighting against high-ranking monsters. It's a long and exhausting battle, and her strength is running out. Suddenly, Folly appears and pushes the female knight away, saving her from an enemy strike. Leo Cornelia doesn't understand why he is here and what he wants from her. The guy tries again to explain that he loves her. He wanted to tell her this before her possible death, which is why he came now. Leo Cornelia deflects an attack and defeats the monster. Folly touches her injury again to heal it. The female knight doesn't understand what he was thinking when he came to the battlefield, but he replies that he panicked upon hearing that she was fighting a demon alone. Miss Leo says that he risked his life for nothing because it doesn't mean she will like him. She is sure she can't become a woman again since her body is covered in scars beneath her armor. Folly convinces her that he doesn't care about that, he would be happy if she became his lover because he loves her just as she is. Enraged, Leo Cornelia prepares to strike the guy but changes her mind. She agrees to let him love her since he has come this far. She is certain she can't become more girl-like, but from that day on, she began to change. Folly asks Leo Cornelia why she doesn't use magic. The woman replies that it's since she was never necessary for her, because she's cut down all her enemies. The guy offers to teach her how to use magic, as it might come in handy one day. Suddenly, Miss Leo finds herself in the center of a fiery explosion, trying to demonstrate that she can use magic. Folly is startled by this, and he once again has to heal Leo Cornelia's injuries from the blast. Folly asks for the knight's hand to teach her how to use magic. He explains how to pronounce the spell, and Miss Leo manages to execute it perfectly. Folly is impressed with her results, and they continue the training. Leo Cornelia is uncomfortable with the guy being so close to her and holding her hand. It's difficult for her to follow his instructions. Suddenly, an explosion occurs, comparable in force to that of a great mage. Interlude. Leo Cornelia is outraged that Folly Dent looked her in the eyes, as it is disrespectful. The guy apologizes and says that the female knight is his first love, so he had no idea how to behave properly. This confession makes Miss Leo a little happier. The action of the chapter takes place in the capital. Leo Cornelia is bored, so she walks the streets of the city. She notices a little boy asking his mother to buy him a cake, but she replies that he needs to wait a bit since his birthday is only tomorrow. Suddenly, the woman knight hears someone calling her name. She turns toward the sound and sees Folly Dent, who looks very brave and determined. She notices that he is acting differently than usual and looks cool. The guy starts a casual conversation with Leo Cornelia, but she realizes he is hiding something behind his back. The woman knight begins to think that he is planning to fight her with a weapon and that he is just pretending to be her fan while wanting to kill her. Just then, Folly Dent gives to her a gift box containing a necklace and wishes her a happy birthday. He confesses that it was enchanted to boost her magic resistance so it would be useful for Leo Cornelia. The woman knight dryly thanks him for the gift and leaves for training, putting the necklace on. She was very excited about the present and couldn't calm down for a long time. Leo Cornelia and Folly Dent are walking through the streets of the city at dawn. The guy asks if the girl has any plans for the day. She replies that she wanted to go somewhere, and he can join her if he wants. Folly is delighted by this news and agrees, hoping it will be a date. However, they end up going to a weapons shop. Miss Leo excitedly examines the new selection and suggests that Folly buy a Morning Star because it's great for taking out crowds of enemies. Leo Cornelia recounts a time when she swung an iron ball with all her strength over her head, hit herself, and cracked her skull a bit. Then she decides to find another weapon for Folly. She pulls out a scythe and explains that this tool looks super strong and that as a child, the woman knight used it to gouge out many goblin eyes. The guy is very tense, he doesn't understand why Leo Cornelia has such a strong attachment to weapons. The woman feels upset by Folly Dent's reaction. She reminds him once again that she can't be an ordinary girl who shops in regular stores. The guy says he doesn't care about that. He is just happy to talk to the woman he loves and see her smile. That's enough for him. He buys both the scythe and the Morning Star to make Leo Cornelia happy. And she assures him that she will teach him how to use them. Folly Dent waits alone for Miss Leo, who promised to go on a quest with him. When the woman knight arrives at the meeting place, the guy realizes that she is sick, as she has a severe cough and fever. Leo Cornelia is outraged that Folly touched her forehead to check her temperature. She refuses to see a doctor, insisting that she is the strongest knight and ready for battle in any condition. Not wanting to hear any more of this, the guy picks her up and carries her to the doctor. They take back alleys to avoid being seen. However, he quickly finds it difficult to carry her, as she is in armor and her body has become muscular from training. Leo Cornelia thinks that sometimes it's nice to be weak and accept help from a man. At the beginning of the chapter, Folly Dent is happy for Miss Leo, who easily defeats rare mushroom monsters. But suddenly, he notices that something is wrong with the woman knight. She is under the hypnotic effect of mushroom stuff. Leo Cornelia starts approaching him closer and closer, and the guy realizes that these are not hallucinogens but an aphrodisiac. The girl kills another mushroom, and the stuff increases even more. Folly Dent can't hold back and, in his hallucinations, confesses his love to Miss Leo. He tries to kiss her, but the woman knight hits him as the effect, which lasts only 1 minute and disarms the victim for that time, has worn off. Leo Cornelia has finished her shopping and decides to take a break. Suddenly she sees Folly Dent and decides to take the initiative to talk to him for the first time. But then she notices that the guy is not alone, but with a girl. She follows them, feeling angry that they are walking right up to each other. The stranger holds on tightly to Folly, smiling and looking like a real lady. Miss Leo compares herself to her and feels unwanted. When the girl enters the store, the female knight runs up to the guy and takes him aside to talk. She asks him, "Who is this woman?" For the first time in his life, Leo Cornelius experiences jealousy. She can't control her emotions and starts acting like a hysterical child. She is shaking and screaming, trying to get Folly to answer her. Suddenly a stranger bursts into the room and yells for Miss Leo to get her hands off the guy. The stranger asks Leo Cornelia, "Are you the holy blade everyone is talking about?" Both girls are outraged and enraged. They begin to fight. The female knight realizes that she is not dealing with an ordinary girl, as the latter reflects the blows too quickly. The stranger yells at Miss Leo to back away from her older brother. The girls stop the fight. Folly Dent tries to explain that Leo Cornelia is not that kind of person. He apologizes for the misunderstanding and introduces his sister Henri Dent to his lover. Henri is a master of martial arts. The female knight is reassured to learn that they are siblings. Folly tries to find out from Miss Leo the reason for her anger. The woman can't admit to feeling jealousy. She says it was a test to make him afraid of her aura. The boy assures Leo Cornelia that he will do everything he can to become strong enough to be with her. Everyone calms down, however, Folly's sister remains angry. The female knight realizes that Henri Dent is jealous of her brother. In the previous chapter, Leo Cornelia met Folly Dent's sister. After that, she encountered a problem as the girl began to follow her. The woman knight tells Henri that she noticed her and asks why she is watching her. Folly's sister wants to fight Miss Leo and tells her to stop getting close to her brother. However, Leo Cornelia replies that it is he who is in love with her, not the other way around. Henri mentions that in the past, Folly often admired muscular women. The girls start to fight each other. Suddenly, Henri's clothes rip, and she becomes very upset about it. Leo Cornelia helps her. She stops the duel and gives the girl her cloak so she can get home in it. In this way, the girls find common ground, but they still plan to meet later for a duel.